imperial court system. Well, I am going to tick off a lot of people, a lot of MAGAs, a lot of people on the right when it comes to my opinions on what's taking place in the courts right now. First and foremost, the courts, various different courts, and we all know how this works in this country. People file suits and they shop for certain judges in certain jurisdictions to get whatever they want. Republicans will do it. Democrats will do it. You know, who appointed this judge and who appointed this judge? And we're seeing the stories and how some of these judges, well, should have recused themselves, connected to left-wing politics here, donated to this politician there, all of this stuff, okay? What's taking place right now is nothing new. Now, I want to remind everybody, okay, all you MAGA types, all of you far right-wingers out there that are going to tell me that, Trump is getting screwed on this, the courts, and these judges need to be impeached. We got to throw them out, and these courts are acting like imperial, or acting like kings. Hold on. We told you here on the program, when you rule, when you legislate by executive order, you run into this problem. Whether you are Joe Biden with his, nobody has to pay back student loans anymore. What? Yeah, that went away. The courts made that go away. And again, you cheered when that was the case, and rightfully so. What did Joe Biden do? He did this by executive order. Donald Trump is, he's handing out executive order after executive order after executive order. And I said from the get-go, Republicans better arm themselves with lots of lawyers to defend these cases. However, again, if you don't have one, you might want to pick yourself up a little pocket constitution. There's a right way and a wrong way of doing things here in this country. And the right way of doing things is doing it through the legislature, through Congress. Again, I'll take you back to the 1970s when we were taught by Schoolhouse Rock. I'm just a bill, just an ordinary bill sitting here on Capitol Hill. You do things through Congress, and mind you, okay, it takes longer. But maybe there's a little bit of wisdom in having things take longer. Even again, you may want to put something forward as an executive order, and then as well at the same time try to turn it into law. But mind you, Congress, where are they right now? They're not even working. They're on another 2-week break. And again, if I was president of the United States, I've got the House, I've got the Senate. I said, you're not going on any damn breaks. We've got stuff to do. I just signed an executive order when it comes to, I'll give you an example, citizenship, having to prove that you're a U.S. citizen before registering to vote. You had some wacko-shack left-wing, and again, I'll call him a wacko-shack left-wing judge, and I disagree with the ruling. Basically said, nope, can't do that. Okay, you want to appeal that. It's part of our process, but even better, you want to enshrine it into law. That's how things are supposed to work. And don't give it, it takes too long. Well, but don't make it take so long. How about do your job rather than being a bunch of influencers, okay, creating content for your YouTube page? There was another one as well. Thomas Massey pointed this out to me. They're all upset right now because a federal judge barred the Trump administration for pulling federal funds from places it deems sanctuary cities, saying the policy is unconstitutional. Now, would I like to see that money? Sure, but I haven't read the ruling. And again, the money was allocated by Congress, not just by Congress. It was just allocated by Congress, by a Republican Congress in the continuing resolution. So you just had Republicans sign off on it. Sign off. They were going after Thomas Massie. They were going after Rand Paul for pushing back in regards to this continuing resolution. So Republicans just signed off on giving the money to the sanctuary cities. Now they're upset. They're upset because a court said Trump can't do that because power of the purse belongs to Congress. I cited a Stone song in my last one. Well, here's another one. You can't always get what you want. Okay? And if you want things to really work in the sense, it's part of the problem that we have right now with these various different election cycles. New president comes, the new Congress comes in. And again, there's lack of certainty because there's so many damn executive orders. We've turned the presidency, okay, we've given the executive branch of government too much power. And I've been railing against this for a very long period of time. I've also railed against the various different acronym agencies. We talked about them being judge, jury, and executioner. For how long? You might not like the ruling, okay? I'm not a fan of the ruling either, but I'm also not a fan of the way things are implemented. People, you don't want to head down a path. We don't want to head down the path where we have a presidency that has too much power. We've done this already. We need to pull back from this. You can go back to 9/11 and Patriot Act. And basically the ability of the president to basically, send troops and send people to war over nothing. Nothing. We're used to be supposed to declare war. And we don't do that anymore. Again, look at the Constitution and how things are supposed to be done. You say, okay, this judge over here, and you can rip into the judge, and this judge is terrible, and this judge is evil. Whatever. Okay, appeal it, but better yet, put together some legislation and get that through Congress. Once you do that, you don't have to worry about these judges. That's the point. That's the point. A judge ruling something unconstitutional. I haven't read the ruling, and quite frankly, I'm not a lawyer, but yeah, there's a point to be made. You might not like it. You might not like it, but again, the judge might not be wrong. WatchDog on wallstreet.com.